Hello, everyone. Before we get started, here's a little intro into the show.
Certified Badass.
Hello, everyone. My name is Richard, and welcome to Sull Live, where I will be going over the movie Abigail. And hopefully, this episode comes out better than the other two. As the old saying goes, the third time's a charm. Or is this the fourth time? I've lost count. But that's neither here nor there. And there is also a saying that 6 hooligans should have remembered before they ensconced with 14-year-old ballerina by the name of Abigail. Because there's a saying that Confucius say that you should be careful who you kidnap. So, and the the hoodlums that ran off with Abigail, the hooligans, if you will, have the names Joy, Frank, Dean, Don Rickles, or just Rickles, Sammy, and Peter. And they found out the hard way that kidnapping little girls for ransom could be a life-changing experience, changing life for death. Or so to get down with what's going on here in this movie, a young ballet dancer by the name of Abigail is abducted, like I said before, by 6 criminals and taken to the secluded WIHELM mansion. Before leaving, their leader Lambert instructs them to guard Abigail for 24 hours, at which point they will receive an equal share of a $50 million payday paid by her father. So, everything sounds good so far. 24 hours, walk out with a bag of cash, go to the Bahamas or what have you. Lambert seems to be the boss. Or I guess he's the boss. He seems to be the boss. And the group, and to make sure that, if they get captured separately, they can't rat each other out, Lambert gives the group fake names to avoid, like I said, identifying each other. And the names consist of, a former Army medic and recovering drug addict Joy, former Detective Frank, thrill-seeking hacker Sammy, former Marine sniper Rickles, or Don Rickles, or Rickles for short, and a dim-witted mob enforcer Peter. That's a nice descriptive name for a character. You're going to be playing dim-witted mob enforcer Peter. I'd have no problem playing such a character, except for the mob enforcer part. And sociopathic driver Dean. And these names mean something to people that are older than us, not young. And so it's Lambert, Captain. They're held up. They're held up in this mansion or manor for 24 hours. So I guess they assume that her father is going to pay within 24 hours. Usually these things take time, but we'll see. Though reluctant to continue with the plan, as she was unaware the target was a 14-year-old girl. That would be Joy. She's like, for some reason, I guess they weren't told who the target was before they stormed her home and took her out of the mansion. So I guess it's a surprise that they have kidnapped a very young child. And since that happened, Joy is tasked with managing Abigail. Okay, she's the one that's supposed to take care of Joy, go into her room, make sure Joy's told by Lambert, make sure you wear your mask, you don't want to be identified. And Joy somehow sympathizes with Abigail by sharing that she has a son, and Joy promises to protect Abigail from harm. Okay, I guess Abigail's scared, of course. Little girl locked away in a mansion with 6 adults, 2 women, 4 men. So there you have it. The other female character is Sammy, the hacker. So, which is fun. Abigail admits her father does not care about her and will not pay the ransom. And that makes sense. It's a good ploy, right? I mean, who's not going to say, look, they don't care about me. They're not going to pay a ransom. Just, kick me to the curb. I'll call an Uber or a Lyft and I'll be on my way. We'll forget this whole thing happened. And wow. And so, but then, we were in this singing, and Abigail again admits won't care about her and will not pay the ransom. Oh, and before Joey leaves, she apologizes to Joy that for what is going to happen to them. Not just Joy. So Joy goes and tells the rest of the gang, and perturbed by Abigail's words, Frank violently confronts her. Right? And while he's in there ranting and raving, he learns that her father is Christophe Lazar, a powerful, almost mythical crime lord. And poor old Frank, he goes in there and forgets his mask too. He's so upset about this. He runs into the room and oh wow. So, and we move on. There's, after unsuccessfully flirting with Sammy, Dean enters the basement. Now, before all this mess comes out, Joy, they have a game. Joy can, says she can guess what they all, their backstories without even, even they have fake names, don't know each other. She says she can, and she does. She does pinpoint she does figure it all out. One of those, a reader, a mind reader. I don't know what she was able to do it. But the whole time, not the whole time, but Dean, he's hitting on Sammy, trying to get busy, and she keeps blowing him off, like, get away, go away, not interested. And then eventually Dean enters the basement where he is attacked by an unseen assailant. And while investigating his screams, Sammy finds Dean's decapitated corpse. The group realizes that Lazar's legendary violent enforcer Valdez must be inside the house. And with knowing this bit of knowledge, they try to leave. But the home security system is activated, and it prevents them from escaping. The windows are sealed, the doors are sealed, everything is sealed up. They are now stuck in this house with Valdez. While looking for a way out, Rickles is mutilated and killed. And that's too bad. I like Rickles. Rickles was a nice character, but he died. He went bye-bye too soon, but so the group confronts Abigail. They go into her room for information. And, they're asking her, hey, what's going on? She's had enough of this. So she transforms into a vampire. She's got the teeth out. And you can, teeth are out, the claws are out. She's a vampire. And she reveals that she is Valdez, which lets you know that even though they had her locked in a room, she still got out. She still made her way out to kill Sammy. And that's too bad. And Frank shoots her. Frank takes out his gun. Remember, he's a detective, so they probably while they're all criminals, they probably have weapons. But he shoots her several times. Yeah, that just kind of makes her mad, and she heals herself. The bullets pop out of her, and she's just healed up. So they go running off. Frank, Sammy, and Peter return and attack Abigail with garlic, crucifixes, and other folkloric items. So they run away and they have a discussion what kills vampires. So all they have to go by is probably movies and other books. Who knows? So against vampires, and you know what? It has no effect on Abigail. Abigail just blows them all off. Crucifixes, garlic, all the whole 9 yards. Just does not have any effect on her because she has the speed and strength that allows her to easily overwhelm and prevent them from stabbing her through the heart. Right? I guess wooden stake shoes work. I guess no one thought about grabbing a few wooden things before. I guess that's only folkloric item they did not think about. Because Joey has to go grab some blanks, pull some planks, and to put through her heart. And Joey successfully, but they really can't get. There's too much speed and power. They're trying to hold her down, but Joey uses tranquilizers to knock her out, and that's how they got the girl in the first place in the mansion. At the beginning, they go into her house. She's still up, And before they kidnap her, Joey hits her with the tranquilizer dart or shot, and then they just carry her out to the van. That's how she. I mean, so it wasn't like she was struggling all the way to the van. So since they couldn't get the stake through her heart, they go with they finally think about, well, let's use a tranquilizer again, which they probably should have done in the first place. But then there wouldn't have been so much blood and gore. That was so we had to go through that, and that's fine. That's fine. And with this, they imprison her, though not before she bites Sammy. She does bite Sammy in this scuffle, and for some reason, this mansion does have a cell in the basement or somewhere in the room. It's like it's a cell, so you need to be ready for that. So, of course, but here it comes. So upon awakening in her cell, we find out that Abigail is not 14. She's more like 1400 probably. And she already knows who these people are. She knows their identity. She knows who they are. She actually arranged for them to abduct her. Right? Well, not right, but through Lambert. So Lambert is in on it too. Lambert and Abigail went through all this for her getting kidnapped. So she can kill them for, wronging her father. So for some reason, that's what happens, when you want to please your father, you commit mass murder to please him, right? Yeah, my dad just goes off and leaves me here, but I know how to get him to like me. I'm going to commit mass murder. So, but then again, he's a mobster, so maybe that is his thing. You never know. It could be his thing. And Joey deduces that Abigail has killed dozens of her father's enemies in a failed attempt to, of course, earn her father's love. Abigail effortlessly escapes her confines and attacks Frank. Now, she's before all this happens, she's on the other side acting like the old prisoner. Oh, let me out. And if you let me out, I won't tell anybody who you are. They already knows the vampire, so she's like, you let me out, I only kill one of you. At first, she's going to let them all go. But then that's time when I look, okay, now we're down. I'm going to kill one person now. If you don't let me loose. Because right now they're all happy. She's in a cell. As far as they know, Abigail cannot get to them. But, the sad truth is she's a vampire. And Frank is left all by himself with Abigail for some reason. I don't to guard her while they go and do other things. But I think Joey's with him too. And this is where, Joey gets and again she rips wooden planks off a window. Not to stab her, but it must be daylight because it exposes Abigail to sunlight, which burns her, right? I mean, it injures her. So, but, with only hours before sunset, the group splits up to find an escape route. But Sammy is transformed into a vampire thrall and kills Peter. Abigail has Sammy attack Frank and Joy, forcing Joy to destroy Sammy with reflected sunlight. So they split up into little groups looking for routes out. Of course, unfortunately, Peter was teamed up with Sammy. And eventually, Abigail just starts moving around, and so does Dace, becomes her thrall and kills him. And then Lambert lures Frank and Joy to the hidden security room, where he reveals Abigail turned him into a vampire years earlier for helping Frank avoid Lazar's wrath. So Lambert is in a room. He has cameras rolling. He can see what everybody's doing. And so, and that's And but Abigail finds him, and Lambert asks Frank, "Hey, you know what? I'm turning into a vampire, and if you do that, we'll defeat Abigail. You'll get a house somewhere and some riches, and because I'm tired of serving Abigail, and I've been a vampire, and let's move on." So, and Frank says, "Sure, let's." He goes, so Frank says, "Okay, let's do that." So Lambert bites him, turns into a vampire. Frank kills Lambert for betraying him or trapping him there. So, you know what? I'm a vampire now. Screw you. And so Frank kills off Lambert. He's gone. There's no more Lambert. So Abigail finds Frank, attacks him, but he overpowers her and drains her blood, leaving her weakened, cornered. Joy leaves a phone message for her son, apologizing for having been absent from his life for many years. So while Frank and Lambert and all that's going on, Joy takes off, and then she's still trying to find a way out. She can't, so I guess she finds the cell phones and leaves a quick message for her son. And reveling in his power, Frank bites Joy, intending to turn her into his thrall and force her to kill Abigail and eventually her own son. However, Joy's enthrallment fails due to Frank's inexperience with his new abilities, and she and Abigail team up to kill Frank. So he's just turned into a vampire. He's still young. He's a new vampy. Probably doesn't know how to use the thralling thing all that well. Probably has some other abilities he can't access. And everyone knows that, there's you have steps you got to go through as you age and you get more powers. And if you've seen Interview with the Vampire, you will get the gist of that, or probably so, or any vampire movie where, and so, and also, so said, Abigail and her team up. That means Abigail wasn't dead. I mean, Frank thought he killed Abigail, and the way it looked like it could have happened because he's dead. I mean, he just kept on, draining and draining and draining. Kind of gross. Everybody with blood everywhere. So with Joy's hold broken, Abigail encourages her to leave and be present in her son's life. But Lazar arrives and threatens Joy. Abigail defends Joy for being present when she needed her, while Lazar was not. Although Lazar angrily rebukes her, he relents for Abigail's sake and allows the bloodied and battered Joy to leave. So they team up, they kill Frank eventually after a nice little bloodbath of their own, battling each other. Excuse me here. But with Frank dead, Joy will not turn into a vampire. Her maker is dead, no more vampire. Which brings up this question, if that's true. Because not sure it was Joy. Yeah, so interesting. So I guess Frank must have turned before. Okay, Joy, because I was thinking, why did Frank turn? But then Frank must have turned before he killed Lambert. So I guess that's why it stuck. But since Joy did not turn into a vampire, that's why it reversed itself. And the thing about Lazar, I mean, he comes in, he's the mob boss man. And, Joey says, "Hey, you must be Lazar." And he's like, "I've gone by many names," which leaves you, if you're me, I just thought, okay, he must be Dracula too, and Vlad. Maybe those were the other names that he went by, because because Abigail's centuries old. So is him. I mean, he's maybe older than that then, right? All depends on when well, I guess they wouldn't have, but it doesn't matter. So that's how it ends in a nutshell. But still, there's a lot of blood and gore on the way. I mean, this is an entertaining flick that is worth eyeballing if you're into blood and gore and horror. That's kind of it's not a bad flick. And the thing about this is, though, when you're doing an LGS, Last Girl Standing, or LWS, Last Woman Standing, you should have more than two. And if you do have two, you should know which one is going to survive from the get-go. I mean, you knew Sammy wasn't going to survive. So I guess, in a way, some people watch this, okay, how are these people going to die? There's no guesswork. I said, well, how these, so maybe they don't want the guesswork. They just want to see everybody die and then see how she finds a way to survive. And that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. So, and maybe shake it up. And I mean, they never have the person that, sometimes they usually don't have the person survive that you want to survive. You have all these people that people don't like. So you're waiting for them to die off. And I guess that makes things happen. But, Joy wasn't all that great either. I mean, Bennett, her son, she's an addict and all this stuff. So, wasn't like she was a Girl Scout. So, but who knows if she took advantage of that. And Abigail was released earlier this year. Abigail was released on April 19th and did a box office of, $42 million against a $24 million budget. Abigail, okay, it's a comedy horror film. It's horror, but it's comedy too. There's some good jokes in there and some funny stuff. But it's a film with guts and no glory. And right now, that the film is streaming on Peacock. So if you have that streaming service, maybe check it out real quick on Peacock, because I don't know. I mean, but maybe eventually it'll hit other streamers as time goes on. Not sure if there's going to be a DVD or Blu-ray release, since that doesn't seem to be that seems to be a dying thing these days. Even though they're coming back in, people are still, people are starting to buy DVDs and Blu-rays again because they want that hard copy. So, and another thing, so that's all I have for this. I was looking, I forgot, I didn't forget, but I saw them back almost not together on the front page there of Peacock, but I thought, wait a minute, there's Abigail and there's Megan. So maybe an Abigail versus Megan review later on. Not a movie, but, just see the contrast against those two horror films, because Megan was a big one back last year or 2 years ago. So that was awesome. But that's it for Abigail. I mean, I didn't go into a lot of detail. Yeah, there's some spoilers, but you still have fun watching it. And so that's it for me today. Everyone have a good evening. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell and all that good stuff.